Welcome to Live from Your Laptop. Hear straight from Clavio's community of some of the fastest growing brands and partners about how they're growing their e-commerce business and owning their destiny. Hosted by Morgan Lasky, for today's episode, we welcome Jofit.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Live from Your Laptop. And it's a special one today because it is our 40th episode on Live from Your Laptop. We started this show right around this time last year. It was like end of April, early May, when we were in pandemic mode. And I don't know, who would have thought that we would be making it this far with this show, but I guess we're doing something right and helping the community out every week. So I want to give a big welcome to those familiar faces who join us every single week. Thank you so much for being here. Live from Your Laptop would not be here without you. And for those of you that are new here, get ready to learn a lot and have some fun. This is not your traditional webinar or virtual event. Live from Your Laptop is a place where we can come with other brand builders and partners in the Clevio community, support each other. And my hope is that you can take away 3 to 5 tactics to try on your company. Or if you are not using Clevio yet, and maybe you haven't even heard of us, maybe you're just here to connect and make a cocktail with us, which is also amazing. I'm down for that as well. So my name is Morgan Lasky, and I am the host of this show, but I also head up our events here at Clevio. I want to know who from the community is tuning in today and where you are tuning in from. So if you head over to the chat, feel free to pop your name in there with what company you're with and where you're located. I'd also love to know if you are back in the office yet. I know a lot of people have been going back into the office now. So I want to know if you're still working from home, if you're working from, your basement or your kids' playroom still, or if you're actually going back into your office or storefront. So let me know. And feel free to turn those videos on, but make sure you stay on mute. But I love seeing you guys every single week, your smiling faces. So today on Live from Your Laptop, we've got 2 amazing companies joining us. I know the little video in the beginning said Jofit. So we do have Jofit, which is a woman-owned and operated athleisure brand, and their marketing agency Noticed. We are going to learn so much about the start and the growth of Jofit and some of the hurdles that Joe, the founder, have overcome throughout the years. And we're also going to hear about the partnership with their agency and how the 2 of them have worked together to grow the brand. So we're going to be getting some great marketing tips from Noticed and ways that you can get noticed. See how I kind of put that little pun in there, and provide a great customer journey for your customers. We're also going to be showing everybody some of the successful stuff that they're doing inside Clavio, which is personally my favorite part of the show. So you can get some ideas to try for your brand and use within the Clavio. Within Clavio, not the Clavio. Lastly, we'll be making a cocktail with Joe. So we've got a fun video to show as we follow along and make a Limonata. I've never had a Limonata. I'm super pumped about it. I've got all my ingredients ready and hope you guys can follow along too, and that we can cheers to another Tuesday in the books. To wrap it up in pure Live from Your Laptop fashion, we've got 2 giveaway prizes, each $100 gift cards to Jofit to pick up some stylish gear for your next tennis or golf match. You guys, even if you don't play tennis or golf, the clothes are super cute for any occasion. So I'm very excited to give 2 gift cards away to 2 lucky winners. Okay, enough with me talking. We've got a ton to cover today. So let's get started, you guys. Joe, why don't you kick us off? Welcome to Live from Your Laptop. Tell us more about you.
Hi, everyone. This is really fun. I am the CEO and founder of Jofit, and our company is about 15 years old. And I'll introduce you to our marketing coordinator.
Hi, so happy to be here. My name is Jamie. So I manage our retail division, but I also am a marketing coordinator. So everything Shopify related and all of our third-party partners goes through me, and anything that goes on the site. So that's it.
My name is Chris Gordon. I'm the retention marketing team lead here at Noticed. And basically, when the team's in the weeds, completing campaigns constantly and everything, there has to be somebody keeping an eye on the engagement metrics, making sure that the strategy and the roadmap is planned out effectively for each client. So that's why I come in. I kind of get to look at the accounts from a 30,000-foot view and make sure they're moving in the right direction and are healthy.
My name is Melanie. I'm a retention marketing manager on the account. So Jamie and I are pretty much in contact day to day, but I see the overall strategy of the retention marketing program for Jofit and our other clients.
Awesome. Well, we've got the whole gang here today. I love it. Big family affair, and lots of different expertise, versatile expertise. So I am excited to dive right in. So Joe, tell us about Jofit. I actually dug a little deeper into your growth story, and it sounds like you had, I'm sure you have some great stories too, but you had to fight every step of the way to get Jofit out in front of the public and make it what it is today and build this amazing community of women. I'd love to hear more about how you started and how you overcame such adversity.
Great. So Jofit was an idea born, I was a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
And I taught elementary and high school phys ed and health, and I coached. And I was just pissed off about what was offered for, I taught tennis in the summer. I was a golfaholic and a phys ed teacher, and there was nothing in any department of my life that fit correctly. And if I go back a little farther, when I was in my early 20s, before I had 3 kids, I modeled a little bit. So I worked in Philly and New York, so I knew a little bit about fit, and just frustrated in golf, tennis, and we do sell athleisure. So as a phys ed teacher, I had nothing to wear either. So I thought I'd start this fun little company and run it out of my garage. And to make a long story short, I quit my job as a phys ed teacher. My husband almost divorced me. He was so mad. I came home one day and I said to my husband, I'm going to China. And he goes, no, you're not. And so anyway, I go to China. I get on a flight and I fly to Hong Kong. I wanted just to launch a little brand at the PGA show in Orlando.
Okay.
So in 2007, I was making samples. 2006, I started making samples in New York. They were horrible. I couldn't find the right pattern maker. I couldn't find the right fabric. But there was an apparel company not far from my home. So I thought I'll go there and ask them. Well, it's a very large, very secure building. I couldn't get in the lobby. And I don't know who the hell I thought I was going to ask when I got in there. So I went home, put on a skirt and heels, walked around the back of the chain link fence to the loading dock, walked in the yard, walked up the loading dock, and walked through the warehouse to the offices and asked somebody who walked by me, where's the production manager's office? So they pointed me. I opened the door to the production manager's office and I sat in front of him. He looks up and he goes, who the hell are you and how'd you get in here? And I said, I want to start a brand. I don't know how to make apparel. I didn't know a knit from a woven. I just knew what I wanted. I knew there was a hole in the market and there was a lot of women just like me that felt that hole in the market. So he was so fun. He's still a good friend of mine to this day. He gave me, some information in Hong Kong, an agent who, we don't use agents anymore. We're pretty factory direct. And some mills in Taiwan. I came home and told my husband I'm flying to Hong Kong. Watch the kids. That did not go over well. So I flew to Hong Kong. When I got there, I told the agent when I was landing, but I didn't know there was a 12-hour difference. So he was there for me 12 hours ahead of time and left. And so when I landed, nobody was there to meet me. So I got the first samples made, launched at the PGA show in 2007, found that there was exactly the hole in the market that I thought there was. But I was in 2007, it was a different world. It wasn't as much e-commerce as there is now. So I started selling to buyers. It was all wholesale and I was beating the street and I got in my little Toyota Prius down in Florida and drove up the East Coast and stopped at every single country club and tried to sell the buyers as much as I could. They were not biting, because you can't sell to your consumers a brand they've never heard.
Right.
So it literally took the time to sell to enough buyers that the sales reps wanted to carry the brand. Once I got 26 sales reps on board, it flew.
Right.
So once I got that footing, that toe in the door, and the panache of being in some of the nicest clubs, I had a brand. And that lasted about another 7 years, and it was a nice business. But we started working with agencies, started building websites, and built so many websites that were so frustrating. And working with agencies that were expensive and nothing ever happened. And it was not a good e-commerce story for me until we met and noticed.
That's awesome. And I think we're definitely going to get into that partnership and talk a little bit about how Jofit transitioned into e-commerce. Because like you said, when you started the brand, that e-commerce wasn't as big as it is today. And I just want to commend you on that chutzpah. Being a fellow Polish girl, that's crazy. That you drove in your car, stopped at every retailer on the East Coast. You just marched right into the Hong Kong warehouse. I love that. Good for you, and thanks for kind of sharing the story about how Jofit started. Noticed. All right, let's take it over to you, Chris. Tell us about the agency and what services you guys offer.
Yeah, so there are two main branches to Noticed. One is on the e-commerce side. We do full site builds, and we also do optimization for e-commerce sites as well, making sure that your conversion rate is as high as it can be, and building up sites month over month, as well as a full site build to get you started. The other end, and the side that I'm on, is on the marketing end, the retention marketing end. We do email, we do SMS, and we do paid social as well. And on email, we are exclusively Clevio. We only work with Clevio for our email marketing, retention marketing services that we offer.
Nice. Love to hear that, obviously. But no, going off from what Joe was kind of getting into, though, how did the partnership with Jofit begin, and what was one of the main challenges that you helped them with?
Yeah, so it started with an e-commerce build. So like Joe was saying, she was very frustrated with, getting started in e-commerce. They had some false starts with their website builds. They were on Magento, and one of the strategies that Notice brought to them was to move them over to Shopify, and that's what we did. That's what their current site is built on, and that's what their current success has been seen on. They came to us through that website build opportunity, so we set them up with that new Shopify store, and then from there, we set them up with retention marketing services, and then from there we built a winning email program, and from there a winning SMS program as well, and here we are today.
Awesome. I love that. And then I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but the reason Live from Your Laptop is, I think, so popular is we actually take community submitted questions. So it's really what the brand builders and the marketers, they want to know. And this question was actually submitted by the community. Someone in the community, what are the first steps you guys took to start Notice? So I would imagine that someone from our agency partner side is asking this question specifically about starting up an agency.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was not a founder of the company, but I will speak on behalf of Adam, our founder.
That'd be great.
Who has told me this story before. But essentially, at first, Notice was just the e-commerce build portion. That's what the company was. That's what Notice did at first. And from there, as Adam was, overseeing these websites getting built, these e-commerce sites, the relationship ended, and it never felt like it should end. built up this great relationship with a new client, and then you build their website and you see them on. Whereas, that's not where a website's experience ends. Any e-commerce site from there, it's, building up the audience, making sure the retention efforts are there, and that, customers continue to funnel in. So from there, Adam then made the decision to add in the marketing arm. There was one hire before me. I was the first hire outside of the director of the program on the marketing end. And now we have like a 15, 16 person team on the marketing end. So yeah, we watched that build up really fast over the past few years.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. And I was on your guys' website, and along with Jofit, you guys manage some really great companies. I saw Selena Gomez's company. So that's awesome. Good for you guys. Okay, so I wanna take it back to Joe, because obviously building a brand and gaining momentum and getting noticed and getting those first couple customers is really challenging. It's hard, especially for brands that don't have a lot of money. So how did Jofit gain traction in the beginning? What specific strategies, tools, or channels did you use to get noticed and grow your first set of customers?
Email marketing from our own lists.
Okay.
Was our first step. I think I'll throw that over to Jamie, because Jamie joined us, what, 4 years ago?
A little over 4 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
And
Jamie can jump in.
Once she joined us, and once we were working with Notice, it became a whole different world. I'll let Jamie answer that.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure. So as Joe kind of touched upon, we were on Magento, and we were trying to customize it to the point that we essentially broke the site. So our user experience wasn't really strong, kind of the main reason why we left Magento and moved to Shopify. So when we started partnering with guys like Noticed and really focusing on our email marketing, that's when we were able to really expand and gain traction in the industry. Though we came very big email list, I think what Mel and Chris have done for us far outweighs what we were doing in Magento and Bronto, because of the way that they're curtailing communication and the segmentations that they're using and the flows that they're implementing and the campaigns. So I think really what strategies that they're using and the way that they're testing and split testing and finding the time of day and finding the correct language. And Mel has learned to speak in Joe's voice and, really kind of inserting the personality of the brand. It's a hard place to be. I'll tell you, Joe's brain's a tough place to be. And Mel has totally nailed it.
He has a very unique personality, Joe. So it would be hard to replicate that, but Mel.
Mel's our girl. So what Notice is doing and kind of the tactics that they're taking, I think is really helping us gain momentum. And we know our demographic, we know who we're targeting, but they're really helping us hone in on that consumer base.
Yeah. So I guess my follow-up question to that would be like, how did you even build the list? Like, where did the list come from? Is it just Joe's friends and families? Is that where it started? Did you guys have from the country clubs, did you have any kind of information or data from the wholesalers that you were selling to? Probably not, but how did you build up that list in the beginning to gain that momentum? Did you buy lists? I mean, if you did, that's fine. No harm in that, but how did you guys build up your list?
Go ahead, James.
That's before my time. I don't know.
Hey, okay.
I mean, when I
someone's got to share.
Bronto had a pretty substantial list.
Yeah, it was simply our own list from our own initial website. It was small, and to be honest, it wasn't growing very quickly. We would not be where we are today if we didn't make a change. Right. We are using direct mail catalogs, and that helps, but that's now. That didn't happen until 2020, 2019.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's move on to the next question, because I feel like when I Googled Jofit, you guys were popping up everywhere. So obviously your digital advertising is on point. It's working great. You have your own website, which is beautiful, but then we see you guys on Amazon. We see you that you have that you're selling in the PGA Tour Superstore. other retailers, and you actually have 2 brick and mortar locations. So when the business started, did you envision it being brick and mortar? Like, where did brick and mortar come in? Like, why did you open physical stores? And did you always intend it to be e-commerce, a little bit of e-commerce and brick and mortar?
So originally, 2006, 2007, I thought we were just going to be a wholesale business.
Right.
It doesn't take long to learn that there's not enough margin there to get you to where you want to go.
Yep.
And that's the whole game, is the margin. But it did build the brand. So all the margin I lost for the first 10 years, I'm calling it a marketing expense, because it did build the brand.
Right.
I did want brick and mortar only because when you sell at wholesale, you're hogtied to the buyer and the way the buyer wants to buy and the buyer's taste and the way the buyer presents your story to their consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And our story is, our mission is to create a community of confident women. And if the garment fits right, you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're happy. And we always say we sell happiness. And it's not about a size, and it's not about a color or a print. It's literally, if it fits, you feel good. And I wanted to scream from the rooftop. We fit each garment 5 times. So when I started this, it's because I'd put on a shirt and think, who the hell fit this, and said, yep, go to production. It was not correct. And so I wanted to still tell our story. So brick and mortar would allow that. And I thought we were going to open a ton of brick and mortar stores until our e-commerce started taking off. And I realized, wow, this is so much easier. So we did have 3 brick and mortar stores, 1 in California, 1 in Florida, and we have 1 in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
And, it's the margin and the labor needed to run an e-commerce business is such a nice life compared to brick and mortar.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I've definitely been the type of person that loves that in-store experience. I still go into stores, try things on, feel it, touch it, but I mean, e-commerce is just next year. I mean, they're predicting $1 trillion year in e-commerce sales just across all e-commerce businesses. So, okay, so it was a branding tactic. So how has partnering up, going back to your wholesalers, how was it partnering up with the PGA Tour Superstore? That's a pretty popular, the PGA is a pretty popular brand name in the golf world. What did that process look like for you guys?
So we have several big box partners. PGA Tour Superstore is the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
They happen to be an awesome partner. They're based out of Atlanta. They're good people. They pay their bills on time. There's no chargebacks. They're wonderful. And they let me tell my story the way I want to tell it.
That's great.
So I work with the merchandiser and we get to do it our way. It's branding, it really helps. And it is my hope that it gets, we put jofit.com on every tag and make it big and bold and beautiful. So we're hoping that also drives business to the website.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe this is a question to loop Jamie into, but this question came specifically from the community, and this is where kind of this whole question stemmed, because I wanted to get into your retail, was where are you driving the most sales from? Having a storefront incurs extra costs, and big box retailers take a good chunk of your change. How do you offset this? What's the benefits?
Sure. So right now, I'd say our revenue balance is about 55-45 split between wholesale and retail. And when I'm talking the contributions from retail, I primarily mean our website. So as Joe mentioned, we do have the 2 brick and mortar locations, 1 in Florida, which is a huge territory for us, especially Southern Florida. And then we have a factory store based out of our office in Pennsylvania. But by focusing on our direct-to-consumer business, we're really able to control our promotions and our markdown, our margin, and of course our profitability, but most importantly, like Joe mentioned, our messaging. So we can really tell our story and merchandise the garments the way they were designed into, and how we see fit, and the colors that we're putting together. But brick and mortar does cost a pretty penny. We know that. So we have to just look at it as a marketing expense. Our ladies love to touch and feel the garment, and the feedback that we get from those face-to-face interactions is truthfully, it's priceless. And Jo is often in the Jupiter store because she has a vacation home right by there. So the ladies love the personal interaction that they get with the owner of the company, because she's 100% willing to implement any suggestions and any feedback that they give, which is a really unique experience that the women get. So when she's in the store, they really get to bounce, what they want, what they don't like about the fit, what they like about the fit, what colors they're looking for, and so forth. So that's a really great benefit of brick and mortar for us. But as for big box, I mean, it's brand recognition and it's awareness. We know that we love PGA Tour Superstore. They provide such a big presence in the golf community. Their traffic and their reach is incredible. And then for that, we really value their partnership and just that added exposure.
Right. So
and
it's about probably, sorry, go ahead and finish.
I'm going to say, if we're talking about PGA Tour Superstore specifically, they take a broad assortment. They work really closely with Jo. They work really closely with our wholesale manager, and they really will bring in a lot to, what is it, like 40 to 50 doors, Jo?
I think they're at 56 doors now or something like that.
Wow.
So I mean, that exposure is huge.
Yeah. So I guess it's really about, not cutting out retail entirely. It's finding the right partner that works with your brand. And going to be a good partner in your relationship and in building that customer journey. I guess a follow-up question while we're on this topic would be, since you own your own brick and mortar stores, is there an opportunity to say, I'm in Florida and I pop into your store, never heard of your brand, but I pop in, I buy something. Are you collecting any kind of data from me that then you're trying to drive me maybe online, or you're trying to drive me into this community of women? What does that process look like? How you're kind of extending that customer experience past the store?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you shop in the store, you're on the Shopify POS. So ideally, we would like for you to make a file, which then that email gets tagged into our list that Mel and Chris will then, kind of clump into our blasts, or if we want to do something store specific. So we're pulling you in that way too.
Perfect. I love that. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there that people sometimes miss out on. They think, just shop in the store, and then it kind of ends there. And I think that's good that you guys are taking advantage of this. And then the last question that kind of came from the community was, do you guys think that retail and in-person shopping will rebound this year? I know last year was probably a little painful, maybe a lot painful for people who had brick and mortars. What do you guys think? Are you going to open more stores? How are you encouraging people to get back into your brick and mortars to sustain those?
So I'll start, Jamie, and take it from there. Our consumers are affluent. They usually have 2 homes, and which is why our flagship stores in Jupiter, Florida. It's a resort area.
Yep.
And our stores, and I can't compare this to other brands, but I think it's important for us to have several stores, and especially as we go global, because it is, when you're on vacation in a resort area, you want to go shopping. If it's a rainy day, you just want something to do, and it's a great way to introduce ourselves in a beautiful setting to the women who are our targets. So I think it's very important to have brick and mortar, and I think it's important to have a few strategically placed brick and mortars.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
And kind of going back to your question just about rebounding, to be honest, we really didn't feel the effects of COVID because our product's such a socially distancing type of sport, right? Like golf and tennis, you can kind of do your own thing. You can have distance between you and your partners. You can have your separate cart. You can walk. If you're Jo, not me. Naturally, I'm not walking. I'm going to be in the cart. But you can keep your distance. So we didn't really feel that huge hit against us. And this factory store that's in our office, we just opened it this past year, and it's a really super simple model. We're only open 1 to 2 times a week, and it's appointment only because of COVID, and it's doing fantastic.
That's awesome.
We're slammed. Every appointment slot is slammed every time we're open. So, I can't really say that we've been hit too hard this past year because we've done well in retail in our brick and mortar.
One of our challenges is our consumer is older and affluent, so she wasn't always computer literate.
Yep.
So the first few years were tougher than it is now. They're getting better. But when you're on the customer service phone trying to teach a woman how to type in jofit.com and they can't figure that out, it's frustrating, but they do now know it's the way of the world and they're getting it.
Yeah.
But it's only getting better in the next couple of years. And I keep telling Jamie, I'm old, but the women who are slightly less older than me, you're not going to have that barrier going forward.
No, exactly. No, that is an excellent point. It's knowing your audience, knowing who buys your product. And excellent point. I love that. Thanks for adding that. Okay, so I want to get into Clevio now. This is my favorite part of the show. I want to understand, how Clevio has helped you guys and your email marketing tactics specifically that have worked. So let's look at some of your top performing flows and campaigns. We're going to dig into some of your segmentation strategies, and then we're also going to answer some of the community questions that they submitted and they want to know about Clevio. So the first question actually comes from the community. What are your top 3 performing flows? And we did a little digging to show these, but I'd love to have maybe Chris or someone from Notice talk a little bit about your top 3 performing flows.
Yeah. So the top 3 performing flows for Jofit, and I think this will probably be a mostly unsurprising answer, are the Welcome series, the Abandoned Cart, and the Browse Abandonment series. Those 3 flows are, the main breadwinners for the program. Everything else is in support of those. So looking here, what we have here is the Welcome series. So those ones that are set to manual with the yellow tag there, those are old versions of the messages. So in all of these flows, they are living and breathing. We don't ever call the Welcome series finished. We're constantly taking learnings from campaigns that we send, learnings from other flows that we complete, and bringing those and improving the Welcome series. So as you can see, there are multiple iterations these have all gone through. But essentially, that first live one that you see there, we hit them right at the front with, you scored 15% off, welcome to Jofit. So right up at the top, we're giving them the coupon that they were most likely promised through the pop-up that they most likely signed up through. So we're making good on that promise and reducing friction to checkout as much as possible. The moment they see that, the moment they open the email, they see their coupon code there. And right below that, we feature top sellers. We feature beautiful lifestyle photography throughout. And, we are putting the brand in the best light right from the start, and also starting to tell the story in that email, creating a community of confident women. That's featured very prominently in that first email as well. Beyond that, we move to a message from Joe. So we are trying to make sure that the customer is familiar with Joe. Obviously, Joe's a very lovable person once you get to know her, as we found out on this. So we want to feature Joe and make sure the customer is aware that this brand has a beating heart, and that this brand comes from a personal place and comes from a personal mission on Joe's part. And that's what that next message gets into. Then from there, messages 3 and 4 in the Welcome series are all about introducing the customer to different ways that they can become involved in the Jofit experience. So in message 3, we have some social call outs, making sure that they know that they can follow on Facebook and Instagram and everything, as well as introducing the customer to the loyalty program at that point. Jofit has a very successful loyalty program, so we want to make sure we're bringing new customers into that as much as possible. And in the last message there, it's all about driving the sale. That's right back to, we've probably learned a bit about you at this point. So let's get some personalized product recommendations in there. Remind you of your coupon. If they use the coupon, they drop out of the Welcome series at that point. But if you haven't used it, that means you haven't bought yet. So we remind you and we drive urgency to use that coupon last chance to claim your welcome gift is the subject line for that one.
I like this. So I have two follow-up questions from this. The one is how are people getting into the welcome series? Is there just one point of entry? Is that on your website? Do you have different landing pages from maybe social media ads that are pulling people into this welcome series?
Yeah, so it's a few different sources. There are paid social ads that are run that are growing the list as well. But the vast majority are coming in through website traffic with a Clavio pop-up. So we do have a Clavio pop-up live on the site, promising that 15%. Then we hit them right off the bat with that.
Right off the bat with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then the second question, you said that you introduced the loyalty program before they actually purchase something. What's the tactic there to just make them see what they could achieve down the line if they start to purchase and become part of the loyalty program?
Yeah, it's to plant the seed of becoming a repeat purchaser. It's to plant the seed of brand loyalty. Signing up and, maybe getting those points on your first purchase.
Love that.
The earlier we can get them in that program, the better off we are. We have flows that support that program in particular. Each time they earn points, they receive a message letting them know that, giving them their point total. We have a little widget in each email showing their current point total, and that's even in campaigns too, and that's dynamic based upon if they're in the loyalty series. So if you're in the loyalty series, we're constantly showing you the fact that you can save on your next purchase because you have points in your loyalty account.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. That brings me right in. I'm like, yes, I have the points. I'm going to use them. So Hannah is asking who you guys use for your loyalty program. Can you share that with us?
Yep. So we use Yotpo, which was called Swell when we first implemented them.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we give points for birthdays. We give points for tagging on social. We give a point per dollar. There's tons of different ways that we can give out points in our program.
I love that. Okay, cool. Well, that looks like a great welcome series. And like I said, it is one of your top performers. It's doing very well. So let's dive into your browse abandonment and your abandoned cart.
Yeah, so looking at this one, that first live message there, it's a nudge. So this is the browse abandonment that triggers off of them viewing a product and not adding to cart or reaching the checkout stage. So this is a pretty high in the funnel customer. And in that first email there, we reintroduce them to the product. We put it in their face again. Did you see something you liked is the subject line there. And a lot of times that's all it takes to get the purchase, just showing them the product again. So we start there after 2 hours of them abandoning the browse. In that email, there's also recommended products related to the product that they were browsing. So kind of providing some upsell and cross-sell opportunity there as well. And then after that, 1 day later, we send category-based follow-ups. So depending on if the item they were browsing was a golf item, an athleisure item, or a tennis item, we send them category-specific follow-up showing other products in that category.
I love that. Good strategy there. Okay, and then your abandoned cart. Wait, that was the browse abandonment. Now we're looking at the abandoned cart. So tell us about this flow and why you set this up.
Yeah, so abandoned cart, it starts with a nudge again, same way we did with browse abandonment. Then typically, best practice for wave 2 and 3, I would say introduce a coupon of some sort, try to give them an incentive to buy. However, with Jofit, there is, because of their wholesale partners, some restrictions there on, when we can give offers and everything. So we kind of have to plan around that. So what we did to try to lengthen the experience here is add in some additional nudges. And then from there, we do the same thing where we then branch off into the category. So we have another setup where it's where you brought, did you abandon golf products, tennis products, or athleisure products? And then that the experience branches from there depending on what category they were browsing in.
Awesome. Great. Well, I love these flows. Thank you for allowing us to share those with the community. So I want to dig into your campaigns a little bit too. You guys have your campaign imagery is great. It's so fun. It's lively. It's bright. It features women. And I want to understand, they're really eye-catching. So I want to look at some of your best performing campaigns, what you guys are primarily using campaigns for. I'd love to understand that. I think a lot of companies use them for different initiatives, such as product launches or flash sales or, loyalty, whatever it may be. So let's talk about what you guys are primarily using your campaigns for in Clevio.
I'll take this. And I apologize. My dog has terrible timing and she's about to have a freak out. So I apologize in advance.
We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. As you can see here, we focus heavily on lifestyle imagery. So Minghe, the photographer at Jofit, is clearly phenomenal. And we found that having like really big lifestyle images in all our campaigns performs the best for the ladies. These types of campaigns always get like close to 9% click-through rates, which is just so crazy in campaigns. But in terms of our content calendar, we are speaking to so many different topics. So Jofit's really unique in the fact that they always have something new on the site. And then their like older collections are always moving off the site. So we always have that opportunity to drive urgency too. But, we're always taking into factor seasonality. Right now we're focusing heavily on like UV collection and like protecting your skin and that kind of stuff. But also taking a look at the bigger picture, seeing what's going on in like the golf and tennis world. In June, we have like the LPGA stuff coming up and the Wimbledon at the end of June. So tying that back to, the tennis and golf lines.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And then I guess like a follow-up question to that is you guys are introducing like new products on a fairly rapid basis. So how does Clevio work to help support these launches?
Yeah, so as you can see on the left, this is like a catalog kind of approach for a campaign. And this is tried and true for our customers. So every new collection, we create something that looks just like this, like really pretty lifestyle images, and then calling out like what each piece is in the photo. But throughout the month, beyond that product launch, we are constantly reminding people of what's new. So in tandem, we also have like an SMS campaign and remind people that, hey, this is still really new and awesome on the site. And even if we aren't speaking particularly to the new product launch, we'll be sure to show like a B spot, like we call it in campaigns. So below the main content of an email, we'll also include a little shout out to remind people that, hey, we have some new stuff on the site that we know you'll love.
I like that. And then I like at the top of the email, you guys have, this is a tactic that another brand that we talked to did this as well. They did some A/B testing on it. At the top there, you have new arrivals, activewear, golf. You have kind of a nav banner that just in case someone isn't interested in like that front and center image, you're giving them the options to, hey, maybe I want to check out what the new arrivals are. I think a lot of brands miss that sometimes, is having a little bit more options for their customers right at that top fold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's actually something we plan on testing too. So we want to see like, are those stealing the clicks from where we actually want people to shop, or is there a benefit to them? So that's on the split testing roadmap, but I totally agree.
Nice. And then looking at your segmentation a bit, I think we have a screenshot to show. Jofit covers a wide range of sports and activities. Like we were talking about in the flows, like you guys have very categorical, is that the word I want to use? Very category focused segments and flows. So how do you cater to these different interests and segment effectively?
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is our general engaged user segment that we use for our general campaign sends. And I want to put an asterisk on this because this is not what best practice looks like for most programs we manage. Okay. And what I mean when I'm saying that is these thresholds are really high, like really high. So
Yeah.
opened email once in the past 400 days, and we're including you as an active user. The reason why we can do that is because Jofit has a very, very strong list, a very dedicated list filled with actual fans of the brand. That's the reason why we can do this. So even those thresholds are very high and wouldn't be where I would start with any brand. They are what we've been able to work up to over time, because even with these thresholds as high as they are, we're still seeing open rates, in the 24 to 25% range. So super healthy still. So we might as well try to send to as many people as we can, with the caveat that they're not a dead email, essentially, is what we're looking for here.
That's awesome. I like that. Would you encourage other people to try this, even though it's not a best practice?
Well, what I would recommend is, take a look at the things that we're filtering by here. We're filtering by, has the customer showed interest in some way? So opened email, placed order, active on site, created recently, subscribed to list recently, checkout started recently. Take those metrics and start to find a mix in your threshold that allows you to hit the 20%-ish open rate sweet spot. And then from there, start to increase and decrease depending on if you see your open rates start to go too low. I would try to keep your open rates at above 15% at any given time. But if you can mess with those numbers until you're hitting the 20% mark, that will help you to find the balance between a healthy open rate and sending to as much of your list as you possibly can.
Awesome. So in addition to kind of the segments you have set up for categories, you also have engaged. And then I would imagine, going back to the first part of our conversation, do you have segments that are broken out by people who shop in the 3 different brick and mortar locations as well?
Yep. And, we send messages. We have, for example, that store that works on an appointment basis that Jamie was talking about. There are weekly messages sent out with the times and appointment availability sent out to a segment that is based around the area of that.
Nice. I like that. Great strategy there. So one of the questions that came in from the community was, what feature in Clevio has been the most instrumental in growing your revenue? Great question.
Mel, do you want to take that from a campaign point of view, and I'll talk from a flow point of view?
Yeah, this isn't going to be the sexiest answer and probably not what they're looking for, but like the drag and drop editor is literally like a lifesaver. I have worked in a few different platforms, and Clavio's is so easy to just set up. Like, for example, that catalog email, they all link to like different pieces, and we use it creating like tables and columns, and it takes like 30 minutes max. So being able to do that in minutes and not be super confused and just come on board and pick that up has been so helpful. So I'd say the ease of the drag and drop tool.
Drag and drop. Gotta love it. User friendly. I'm all about that.
And when you're working at an agency, that's important because there's only so much time that we could budget for each client. So we need to be as effective as possible with the time that we have. And that allows us to give more time to the strategy portion, the more time we save on the campaign building and setting up. And from a flow perspective, you've seen by looking at our flows how much we use the data the customer is giving us based upon what they're interested in. We know what sport they're shopping for. We know what they've been looking at on the site recently. We try to use that as much as possible. We try to fill the emails with as much dynamic content as possible based upon what we've learned about them. Are they a loyalty rewards member? If they are, let's add in the widget that shows their point count. If they are not, let's add in a B spot, driving them to the rewards landing page, asking them to sign up and letting them know that it is a feature that's available. You can get so involved with the data that Clevio is giving you, and the sky is the limit. You can really get granular based upon how you set up these flows and everything to really give everyone as personalized an experience as possible while also making it scalable.
Yeah. 2 really great answers. I'm glad that you guys are seeing success with those 2 features in Clevio, and hopefully others who are listening in today that are not using those widgets and those cool tools can start using them for their brands. So the last question that I want to cover with Clevio and just email marketing specifically and just data stuff is, what are two of the biggest lessons you've learned since starting email marketing?
So I can take that from a brand perspective because we've just learned so much. So our email marketing makes up probably about 40 to 45% of our overall net website revenue. So our lady's very responsive to our marketing efforts, and she responds quickly and honestly. Yeah, our email is tremendous.
That's
thanks
great.
to these guys.
Yeah.
Thanks to what these guys are doing. So, naturally emails are hitting the largest audience at one time. So we're really able to gauge their response to a collection within the first 12 to 24 hours of an email being in circulation. But Mel, we've seen upwards of, wouldn't you say, Mel? So,
Oh, yeah.
So I basically myself, I've been really monitoring our collection launch emails very closely because they tend to obviously convert the highest for us.
Yeah.
But I'm also able to collect the most immediate sense of a group from our lady. So we get the response that we get from her. We're able to hone in on what she likes, what she's looking for, color palettes, styles, and prints, and the overall sense of the collection. We've also engaged Yotpo for product reviews and implemented a chat on our site. So she bears no hesitation or means to let us know how she feels about these collections and these assortments. But email marketing really gives us the best sense on how she feels on the overall group, because we get that response the quickest. So we can easily compare collection launch to launch based on open rate and click rate and the revenue generated. So that really shows me what our consumer's interested in. And then I can take that information back to our design team and Joe, and then they can design into that in the future. So from our side, that's the best benefit of this. We can really track what she's looking for.
That's awesome. Does anybody else have anything to add? I mean, that was a great answer. So if there's no follow-up to that.
Just
Hear that, Joe? That was a great answer, she said. I did great today.
Very good, Jamie.
I did great today.
I think it's key for us that it's immediate. Like she said, within 12 to 24 hours, we know what's a hit and what's not. And we sit in design meetings twice a week. So it affects everything.
Yeah, it surely does. And I've actually learned that when I first started at Clavio, I did not realize that it wasn't just about email marketing. It affects business decisions, product decisions, like everything. So so glad that Clevio is helping you guys, not just from an email marketing perspective, but from a holistic view of the business and your consumer.
Yeah.
James, great.
Thanks, Mom.
You both did excellent on that question. That was definitely a team effort. Okay, my last question before we jump into making a cocktail for our Tuesday. Maybe Joe, you can start, or maybe Jamie. What's one of the biggest things that you guys struggle with right now as a business, and how do you plan on overcoming it?
I'll start, but Jamie, you gotta take it from there.
Okay.
It's the return on investment drives me insane. Notice does such a good job. If I had 10 billion more dollars, I could make a return on investment. It's always up there. It's always a 4 ROAS. It's always so impressive. If I had more money, I would just pour it into it. At some point, I will accept more money. And it's all going to just push growth through Noticed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, go team Noticed.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Look at Barbara. She's in the chat. She's like, I'm going higher Noticed.
I saw that. I love that.
Board.
Go ahead, Jamie. What do you want to follow up on?
Yeah, in the past year, our biggest struggle has been, we had always thought that we were going to move into a direct-to-consumer business, but wholesale has been the foundation, right?
Okay.
Since Joe started, we've really been a wholesale business. 70, 80, 90% of our business was wholesale. We had discussed in 2018, like a 2020-ish pivot to direct-to-consumer and peeling back on wholesale. And then COVID hit and everything changed. Yeah. So it kind of pushed us into overdrive to kind of take that pivot and leap into the direct-to-consumer business, just because what was happening in the world. So we've really been kind of navigating those waters a little bit sooner than we had planned. And it's been a success, but you know, we definitely weren't as planned as we had hoped to be to do it in this year. So I don't know that I would say it's a struggle. It was a little bit of a shock to the system, but you know, we're getting through it, and our long-term growth plan is definitely surrounding direct to consumer, the website, all the third-party partnerships that we have integrated into the site, and just moving in that direction. We do still have some reps. You know, we have our major territories covered. We have an online portal for our wholesale customers, so they can still purchase from us, but they don't have that face-to-face interaction with the rep in every territory. Like Joe said, we once had 26 reps.
But
So,
thank God that was our plan, was to pivot, and we were prepared to pivot in 2021. We just had to pivot a year early, but we were prepared. I have no idea how we got so lucky, but we were prepared.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys you have been doing great stuff. You're doing even more exciting stuff. So thank you so much for all of you for sharing all that information with us. It was really inspiring. I know I learned a few things. So thank you, Joe, Jamie, Chris, and Mel, for all of your insights and sharing with our Clevio community today. So we have about like 3 or 4 minutes left, you guys. So don't go anywhere, because we need to make the limonata. What is it called?
Oh.
Limonata.
Limonata. I'm thinking of a limoncello or something. Okay.
And let me just say, it's not a real recipe. I just made it up.
You made it up. That's okay.
There is a real recipe, but what I'm making is not the real recipe. I like this better.
Okay, got it. All right. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do the giveaway, and then we're gonna say our goodbyes. But while I'm moving into my kitchen, we're gonna launch this little fun poll for you guys to let us know how you liked Live from Your Laptop today. I always say this every week. I do this now because nobody ever answers in a post-event email. So let us know how you liked it. It's anonymous. Hopefully you liked it. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. And then Kelsey, can you throw up the ingredients we need for the cocktail? And then we're gonna launch the video. All right, Kelsey.
Oh, you should be able to see. Can anybody see the ingredients?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't, because probably I unplugged my computer. That's okay though. So why don't I'm going to end the poll. Thank you for everybody who contributed to the poll. I see them now. Thank you. All right. So let's launch the video. We actually pre-recorded this, you guys, because of timing. So let's go ahead and launch it and follow along.
Hi, girlfriends. Welcome to Limonata. This group is electric. It is so fun. It's got a midnight blue, an ice blue, and a citron yellow that will give every skin color a nice glow. We have a bunch of prints. We have an electric plaid for a woven bottom. We have a retro dot knit print. We have 3 other prints, a lot of UV coverage. And I know at my age, I only play in UV. Our UV is spectacular. So to celebrate this fruit, we're going to make a limonata, and it's not a real limonata. It's my take on the limonata. I got a shaker full of ice. I already put a bunch of lime and lemon in here, but you want to get as much as you can, really fruity. We're going to add some vodka. I just read this book. It was called Drink Like a Woman. And the author told us that ethanol in our alcohol is the same ethanol that you put in your gas in your car. So anyway, whatever. Let's add some vodka. You know, some. And I like to make all the drinks light, so I add some club soda. I'm going to put a little bit of mint in there. If you like your drink sweeter, some simple syrup in here would be good as well. I like a nice tart drink. All right. Shake it violently. All right. This is going to be fabulous. Nice and light and fun. All right. I'm going to garnish it with a little more mint. Some more fruit. Here comes summer, girlfriends. I'll see you on the course. Cheers. I won't be playing well. I'm not a great golfer, but you don't have to be to golf. And I keep telling my girlfriends that you don't have to be good. You just have to keep moving and have fun. Nobody cares about your game. They only care about their own game. So just go out, bang some balls. Cheers. I'll see you there.
Balls. I love that. Oh, that was so much fun. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Happy Tuesday. What is such a fun video. And wow, that was really just real and natural and organic. And hopefully you guys use that on social or wherever you're using that. But that was great. Okay, awesome. Well, hopefully you guys were able to follow along with us and make the Limonata. That's the show today, you guys. So I want to give a huge thank you to Joe from Jofit and Jamie from Jofit and the Notice team for taking the time to be with us today. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Also, if it wasn't, it honestly, the show would not be possible without our community and all of you tuning in each and every week. So thank you so much for your support. And I hope that this hour that you spent with us was informative and fun for you. Before we go, we're going to do the giveaway question. I was jumping ahead. Sorry, you guys. I almost forgot the giveaway question. So we're giving away two $100 gift cards. So Joe, what is the question? So guys, all you got to do is type in, if you've never been on Live from your laptop, you just have to type in the correct answer. It's going to be the first and the 20th person to type in the correct answer.
Let me preface this by saying we're not just golf and tennis. We have a lot of great athleisure that fits fabulously. So answer the question and get yourself some amazing tights. Makes your butt look amazing.
Love that.
How many kids do I have?
See, people, we thought,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
we thought, okay, we
Way to
thought,
go.
knowing our audience, that this would throw you all off. It did not throw you guys off. Look at this. Okay.
Wow.
So let me scroll up. Trevor is going to find our 20th winner. I'm going to announce our first winner. Emily, we should start like a winner board because I feel like our devoted fans, they come on every week and they're getting better at this every single week. So Emily, you are our winner. Congratulations. And then Trevor will come on and announce our 20th winner. Thomas, the 20th winner is Thomas Sorains. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name, but we have your email, we have your name. We'll make sure to get you guys those $100 gift cards to Jofit. So excited for you. Okay, so thank you again, everybody, for joining. Next week, we've got our friends from GhostBed on the show, and little special announcement. We're kicking off a special edition of Live from Your Laptop in our EMEA region that will be hosted live out of London. And we're going to highlight 9, 10 brands up until September. So you guys will want to watch out for that. So anyhow, next week, GhostBed will be on the show. They actually formed a company about 100 years ago called Warner Ladder Company. I don't really use a lot of ladders, but maybe you guys know who they are. I've definitely heard of them, but yeah. It's an interesting correlation, but this 100-year-old entrepreneurial family has turned the mattress industry upside down. So we can't wait to hear their expertise about that. Lastly, look out for an email from me in the next few hours with the replay to catch up on anything you missed today, along with some additional resources to help your business grow and a 10% off promo code to Jofit so you guys can go over and get some athleisure wear for yourselves, and a link to sign up for next week's episode with GhostBed. I need to drink this cocktail, and I know you guys need to go too. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time on Live from Your Laptop.
Cheers.
Cheers.
thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.